Welcome back, Rankers. Having a good week? I certainly am, because I went to the football on Sunday. Very good day. And I think I'm number 2 in the tipping competition now as well. Just quietly trying to keep the lid on it. Last week's show we showed you a little bit about Facebook custom audiences, courtesy of Sports Geek, Sean Callanan, and the one-day educational that we went to. I said in that show that we have a tool that can go and scrape, user IDs from Facebook groups and such like, because then you can create a custom audiences and you can upload a list of user IDs. Now, a lot of you pointed out, rightly so, that, hey, you sure you're allowed to do that? Well, look. Here's the terms and conditions and custom audience terms. It says here, you represent and warrant that you or your data provider have provided appropriate notice and secured any necessary consent. So it's up to you. Working out what that means, I'm not sure. But anyway, we haven't used that tool, by the way. I'm just saying, we could use that tool. So, anyway, I don't know what's necessary. I don't know what's appropriate. Well, I kind of do know what's appropriate. But you get my point. It's a grey area. And, in fact, speaking of terms and service, you know how Google doesn't like you buying backlinks and getting backlinks to your own site? There's a new technique that I'm running an experiment on. And we do this from time to time. You could say it's a little bit black hat, but we're not doing it on our own site. We're not doing it on a client's site. We're setting up a fresh site to test a particular exploit that we've seen, we think is pretty funny, and I'll be bringing it to you in the next few weeks. I won't show you today, but it's an interesting one, let me tell you that. And I don't know how Google's going to deal with it. I think it's a very difficult one for it to deal with. Anyway, enough of that. I want to talk to you today about recovering from a manual spam action. We've done this for a couple of clients, and in your Webmaster Tools, if you want to know if you've got a manual action, you go into your search traffic and you go to the menu there. It says manual actions, and you're going to notice there. Make sure in your Webmaster Tools you've got an email address hooked up to that you're getting email to, because that's really important. That's the only way you're going to find out whether you've got it. If you've got a manual action, that is fantastic. It's good. It's a good thing, because it allows you to wipe the slate clean pretty quickly. Usually you can do it within a matter of weeks and get and get the traffic back that possibly you've lost. But there's a step beyond that, because typically when someone's got a manual action, they've been relying on buying backlinks for a very long time. And the downside of that is not only the manual action that you might get from Google, but it's also the fact that you've probably been paying little attention to the content on your site and whether it's optimized properly. So don't automatically think that if you get your manual action revoked, your rankings are going to come back. You have to do more than that. You have to do all the stuff that we talk about on this show. You have to go and do all those things of getting the site healthy, getting it free of errors, getting it working well for the user, and also, of course, publishing great content and sharing it, okay? So typically, if you've just been buying backlinks, you haven't been doing any of that, because you're sitting back going, hey, the backlinks are kicking in, and I don't have to do anything. Well, that's not the case anymore, of course, as you know. So this is a site, this was really a curious one, because this site had a manual action against it, and you can see here, search impressions per day around the 1,100 mark. The manual action got revoked here on the 28th of January, and you can see there straight away there was an uptick in search traffic of about 30%, right? So that's typically what can happen. Now, the complication with this particular site is they were moving to another domain name as well. So if you don't just if you get a manual action, say, okay, I'm going to throw the domain away and I'm going to start again, and all that old traffic that I was getting to the other site, what little there was still left of it, I'm just going to redirect that old domain to the new domain. Don't do that unless you do this first. You have to actually go and do a disavow of all those backlinks and do it in a chunk of time. So by that I mean, let's say you started buying backlinks in November last year. Well, from that point to today, just grab all those backlinks and upload them to the disavow tool in Google and just do this wholesale sweep. Now, in amongst that, you're going to get some good backlinks, but Google has said that, basically that will indicate to them that you're really sorry, okay? So it works. It actually does work. Now, where it gets difficult is if you haven't got a manual action. Ironically, it's harder to recover from a drop or a penalty that happens to be algorithmic. These manual actions are just that. They're manual. Someone has said, wait a minute, you're buying backlinks. That's unnatural. Manual action. If you've got hit by an algorithm change, you've still got to go and clean up all your backlink profile, but you can't issue what's called a reconsideration request to Google, where the actual human sits down, looks at it and goes, oh, yeah, okay, all right, yeah, we'll lift the manual action. So manual actions are actually a good thing. So with this site, you can see here, bang, we started getting the search traffic coming up straight away. Then we had to move it to the other site. Now, the reason that you don't want to just, when you're moving to another site, you don't want to just redirect the old one without doing this first is because your new site will then inherit all those old backlinks, and it's going to be harder for you to disavow because they're not really pointing at your site. They're all redirected. So if you get a manual action and you decide to move to another domain name for whatever reason, make sure you go and try to get rid of the manual action on the old site first. Then you can go and redirect to the new site, and this is what happens over time. You get this nice uptick in traffic. So this has got on-page optimization. It's a healthy site now. We're publishing content. Stuff's getting, and you can see here where the new site went live. Went live, just after we got the manual action lifted, and you can see there that you get this gradual nice uptick in traffic to the point where now it's pretty much doubled in traffic, which is nice. So hopefully the client's sales have doubled as well. But that's what you've got to do. You can see here, we're getting a lot of impressions here. In fact, I should probably put that, to about the 1st of Feb, just to get a better idea of where we are. So you can see in that period, we've got 107,000 impressions over that period, which is great, and you can see the climb here. So key takeaways here for recovering from a manual action. Number one, it's a good thing. First thing you've got to do though is get rid of all those backlinks. Get rid of the ones you can manually that you had access to. Just if you've employed someone to make them, employ that same person, unfortunately, to get rid of them. Then also do the disavow file, and you'll get feedback from Google on a regular basis that says, no, you didn't get rid of them all. So that's why you've got to do that chunk of time. Just go and get all those backlinks that you made over that period of time. Disavow all of them, regardless of what they are, and you can find that out with a tool, say like Majestic. Webmaster Tools also has the list of backlinks that it knows about. And then if you are going to move to another site, just make sure that you've done all that disavow first, and you get the manual action revoked noticed, which will be under your site messages. I can't show you what it looks like because it's someone else's data. And once that's happened, then you can move to another site and redirect the old site. So hopefully that's helpful for some of you, and we'll bring you that exploit story in the next couple of weeks. Unless it's really good, unless it works out that we get a lot of business out of it, then we're probably not going to tell you. Yeah, I will. I'll tell you. See you next week. Thanks very much. Bye.